Try this again. Welcome back to another episode of Convos with Your Mom's Favorites with host Moe and Greg. I am Moe.
I'm Greg.
And we are back with another episode again for the people. Uncle G, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Likewise. Yeah.
It's been a good weather-wise last couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I've been,
I'm pretty good with it. I don't like, it's interesting. I don't like the winter, but I don't like when the summer gets brutally hot. And then we had the episode about a week ago where all of a sudden we were looking at an 80 degree day, and I'm like, no, it's too soon.
Yes,
it's
too soon. What I thought.
It is too soon. I got to work up to an 80 degree day.
Yes,
I can't just
with 60s for a while,
for a little while, and let my body get acclimated. But it's like if I wake up in the morning to an 80 degree day, it is not going to be good. I am not happy.
I'm not happy.
Nah.
I won't want to go outside.
And my first reaction would be to stay in.
Because
I'm not going out at all.
It is way too hot.
Yeah.
For all of that.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't really have. It's gonna be a light episode.
Okay, then it'll be a light episode
because,
again.
I don't have.
Uh-huh.
I'm in like this fuzzy haze.
Yeah.
To where just topics to talk about.
Yeah.
It's difficult to figure out. I'm having difficulties figuring out what to watch.
Yeah. And even with myself lately, I haven't been watching anything quote unquote new, but I've been watching stuff that I've missed.
Yeah.
I'm going back now and looking at stuff that I missed. Now, again, I think we talked about it in the previous episodes. I'm going back now. I'm on season 4 of Better Call Saul.
I'm on episode 4 of Better Call Saul.
Well, I'm doing a little bit better than you then. I'm on I started season 4 last night.
Okay.
It's excellent. I'm loving the show. And I'm loving it to the point where now it's like I'm almost, when it finally gets to the end, I know I'm going to be kind of empty because it's going to be like, oh man, it's not coming back. It's not coming back, or unless they do some other kind of. I am enjoying the performances. The performances have been off the chart. His performance has been incredible, but I'll tell you who else has impressed me, who has impressed me in this show, and it's only going. And you're just on episode 4.
Yes.
As it goes on, you're going to be even more impressed. Michael McKean, who played Squiggy on Laverne, not Squiggy, he was Lenny, who played Lenny on Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
He played Saul's brother. He was incredible.
He's been incredible already in the first 4 episodes.
Oh my God. Yeah. It just in the first
4, he shined.
He is incredible. I'm sitting there looking at him. I'm like, who would have thought that Lenny from Laverne and Shirley could turn in that kind of a performance? He was incredible, man. I'm like, wow, this man is incredible. And yeah, you're gonna, and even as it goes on, you're gonna even enjoy him more. Him more.
I'm only on episode 4 because I started yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I actually sat down to start watching it. Because I just recently finished a show called Severance.
Okay.
On Apple TV+.
That's on Apple TV. See, I don't have Apple TV+. How was that?
Oh my gosh.
It looked good because the cast. I was loving the cast.
That show is incredible, and it is nothing. Because I didn't hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just went on Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Severance. The entire season was out.
Yes.
So that's a plus for me.
Yeah, exactly. So
that I can watch the whole thing at my leisure.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I watched the entire. It wasn't what I was expecting at all. But I love that show, and I need season 2.
Wow.
Immediately.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what it's about?
Refresh my memory.
It's the people work for this company
Yeah.
called Lumen.
Mm-hmm.
And they work on what's called the severed floor.
The who?
The severed floor.
Okay.
And what happens is once you reach the severed floor, you have to go through this process called severance. Mm-hmm. Once you get to the severed floor, you have no recollection. You have no access to your memories outside of the building.
Okay.
And once you leave the severed floor, you have no access to your memories inside the building.
Okay. I remember. Okay. I remember. I remember. And go ahead. Go finish. But I remember now.
I was like, once I saw the idea, I said, "Oh, that would actually. I kind of wouldn't mind that. Mm-hmm. Not bringing that's the work-life balance I kind of need in my life.
Truth.
That is the work-life balance I needed in my life.
And when I could now that you mention it, I remember. That's why I started laughing, because now that you mention it, I remember when they were advertising about it, and when me and my wife was sitting there watching the preview, because we don't have Apple TV, but we were watching the preview for it, and I looked at her and I said, "That's the way I've always lived."
Oh man,
it's like I go to work, and I told him I go to work, and from, let's just say my hours 9 to 5. From 9 to 5, I am there. I said the minute 5 o'clock comes and I exit out of the building, guess what? Guess who's no longer thinking about what's going on in the office? This guy right here.
Yeah, exactly.
I am no longer thinking, and when I get, so likewise when I'm home, I'm not thinking about work. I'm thinking about what's going on at home. And then when I leave home and I walk through those doors in the office, that's when all of the stuff that's office related and work related starts coming back to me. Because other than that, like you said, I've always tried to keep it, to keep it separate. But they're taking it to a whole different level, and I get it, and I'm sure this is probably what makes it interesting, because we live in a culture today where now you have 24-hour access to everything. Yes. So it's like you got people, they work at work, and they go home and they work from home, and then they're doing stuff from home. So it's like you never really separate. You never really separate home from work. Okay, so maybe this particular company, I don't know why they would do this, but again, what is their premise? Why are they doing this?
That's what we are still
okay
finding out.
Okay, why they're doing it. Okay.
Why they're doing it.
Because you would figure that most companies would want you to always be thinking about work.
No, they haven't got into it. They're sitting. Most times you only see like the one department. Mm-hmm. You see like two departments the entire time, but the one department that they focus on, they're just sitting in front of a computer with numbers. Mm-hmm. And they have to separate the numbers into different boxes. Mm-hmm. But we have no idea
why
they're doing it.
Okay.
And they're separating the boxes based off what they're feeling looking at the numbers. Okay. Like the lady, there was a new hire. She was sitting there and she was looking at the screen, and she was looking at a set of numbers and she got afraid, like the numbers scared her. Mm-hmm. So that's how she knew to separate those numbers and put those in a certain box. Yeah, it's crazy. And then the difference is, it's kind of like they're like two different personalities, because they're sitting in an office and they are trying to they talk about and try to just guess at what they themselves are like outside of work.
Okay.
Because as far as they know, in the office, they never leave.
That's right. Because they have no memory.
They have no memory
of outside.
Wow. So they never leave the office.
And it's interesting. I guess the interesting part about the story, though, then would be, it's like, okay, yeah, they always tell you you want to maintain a balance between work and home, but it's like if I'm at work and I'm not thinking, and as far as my brain is concerned, it's not even thinking about home. Suppose something happens at home, how am I supposed to be aware of it? What am I supposed to do if something happens?
Yeah, well, they figure that out for if something happens at work. Because the one guy, he does get injured, like he gets like a cut on his head. And then when he leaves to go home, because he doesn't remember
how he got the cut,
there's a note on his car. And it was like, while trying to get something, a supply off the top shelf.
Oh, it explains what happened.
Yes, it explains what happens to him.
Okay.
Because that's not really how they explained it is not really how he got the cut.
Okay. They explained it in a way that his brain will be able to process.
Well, they just lied. They lied to him.
Okay, that's even a better way to explain it. They lied.
And yeah, it gets crazy because one, the managers who work there, they aren't severed.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay.
But
right. I can see where that would make it a little interesting.
Yeah, it's a really intriguing show.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for them to come back with season 2, especially because of how the first season ended. Mm-hmm. I said, you're kidding me.
Really?
You're kidding me that there's not another episode after this immediately explaining what's going on.
All right.
Because that's a cliffhanger ending if I ever saw one.
Okay. Do you think that has it done well enough that you think they'll bring it back for a second season?
Yes.
Okay. Because to me, the problem with you get these high, well, no, I guess. Well, one good thing is that usually the season is only like 10 episodes. Let's say 8 to 10 episodes.
Yeah.
The season is nowadays 8 to 10 episodes because you get these high profile, high in demand actors, and it's like, how do you get them to schedule to come back, for another season? How do you get them? How does that work? But I guess they can if they already know that, we're doing this. We got a 10 episode season. We get in, we nail it, and then we're able to move on.
Yeah.
We're able to move on to
and they're not trying to like film it as it goes along.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of times they've already filmed it, and then they'll fine tune it or edit it or whatever it is they do later. They'll do all the production stuff afterwards, but the acting and all the other scenes, the scenes themselves, they do those and probably can do those relatively quick, considering the caliber of the actors they have. Because I saw one preview for Apple TV for a new show coming up, and I'm like, the two main characters is Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, how do you lock two high profile actors like that into a seasonal show? These aren't actors. Yeah. These are actors who are acting not just on the small screen now, but on the big screen. So they're constantly working. So it's like, how do you lock them into a series?
And what it's looking like now too is that there's no difference. It doesn't seem to be a difference now. Mm-hmm. To where like before it was movie actors.
Yes,
we're at a higher caliber than television actors.
Yes.
Whereas now,
it's just actors.
It's just actors.
It's like you're just working. You're just
working. There's no you're not
And that's been good too, probably for the actors, because now where once upon a time they wouldn't have taken quote unquote small screen work, now it's like, it's just work.
And it might even be better work
than what you've been getting on.
What you've been getting on like the silver screen.
Yeah. You're able to get more of it because they're constantly doing new things and coming up with new projects. So you're able to even do more of it. So again, okay, I can kind of see that. But
and it might even be like less of a demand.
And then not only and also, it might be less of a demand. And now, because of the fact that the various award shows are even acknowledging those type of films. Academy Awards is acknowledging what they show on Netflix, what they show on Hulu. They're acknowledging that stuff. So it's like, all right, I ain't gotta do. I could still do this at a lower key, at a lower pace, or maybe at a different pace, and still be recognized by the various academies out there.
And they should, because these
acting is acting. They're still doing the work.
They are extremely the creativity now seems to be on the streaming platforms.
Yep.
And instead of the big movies and major networks, they seem to be taking bigger swings with what they are trying to put out. Because if you go on let's say Fox There's like 911. There's 911 Lone Star, which is 911, but in Texas.
In Texas.
And then you have the Chicago series.
Yes.
And they've got Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD. They used to have Chicago Law, but that got canceled. But then you also have Grey's Anatomy. There's like 8 million different medical shows on television right now.
Yeah.
And cop shows.
And a whole bunch waiting in the wings to be greenlit.
Yes. So why would I stay there when on Netflix you got Squid Game? And on Apple TV you got Severance.
Yep.
And you have like the streaming services that are pulling, like that are like, let's give it a shot. It's either going to do real good
or not,
or it's going to do real bad.
And if not, if not, it seems that with the streamers they have no problem pulling it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this didn't go well. Okay, bye.
It didn't work. It didn't work. So we're not gonna green light this for another season.
Yeah. I think also that might be a problem too.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that. The fact that that's an ongoing problem because it's more problematic for the fans than I think for the actors. The actors just go on to the next job. For the fans who may have invested in those shows, it's kind of hard because here it is now you have taken away something. It's like you've taken away something that we like.
Yeah. Or even, not even like, let's say, for example, because I just said it's Squid Game. Let's say the first season of Squid Game wasn't great. But then they cancel it.
Yep.
But then what you then took away from that show was the ability to get better. Like the show wasn't horrible. It just wasn't mind-blowing and didn't do what you thought it should have done.
Yeah. It didn't get the audience.
Some shows take a while
to
gain an audience.
Some shows take a while. Exactly. I do agree.
But if you cancel it before it gets the chance to gain that audience, you're stealing that chance to have a great show on your hands.
But again, we've talked about that too. We've mentioned that too. How that is the disadvantage of doing stuff that way. You may have a great show because how many times have you seen a show that didn't do well on this network? Now, because nowadays it might get picked up by another network, and then on the other network, all of a sudden, it blows up.
And it blows up.
It blows up, and you're like, well. And it's really just simply because they really hadn't changed anything. It's really simply because the other network didn't give it time to find an audience.
Yeah. And then what might have happened is if, let's say, my show was at Fox, but then ABC picked up the show. When ABC picked up the show, they might have given the writers and the director more creative freedom to show the true vision that they had from the beginning.
From the beginning, yep.
So now you get to really see what the show is and what the show was supposed to be from jump.
The whole thing is a big chess game.
It really is.
It really is, and it's really interesting to see. I see stuff going on with networks and streaming platforms today. Again, well, we didn't have it when I was growing up, but again, that you didn't hear anybody on NBC talking about ABC shows. You didn't hear anything about there was no cross contamination.
No, there was
ABC
not.
was strictly ABC, and if you worked for ABC, that's
where you worked.
That's where you worked. You were not doing guest shots on CBS or NBC or WPIX. You were not doing guest shots on those stations because you were tied. You worked exclusively for ABC. Now you're all over the place. You can work pretty much wherever,
as long as what you're doing over there doesn't affect your work right here. Go for it. Have a blast.
Go for it. So you might see your favorite actor. He might be appearing in a show that you really like on CBS, and he might be appearing on a show that you like on Hulu or Netflix. And again, they don't cross, they don't overlap. They don't overlap. So it's that part really, really that makes me laugh because I remember back in the day that did not happen. Your contract was exclusively for whatever network you worked, and you did not cross over unless you were appearing on a talk show or something like that.
Right.
You know, other than that, you was not doing anything else.
That's a good change.
Yeah, but that's been a good change,
changes.
and I'm sure the actors appreciate that because now they've been able to again get more work.
Get more work,
Yeah.
and again, it's more money for those of the actors who are in
Yeah.
it for the money.
Yep, and it's been able to get writers more work. And the whole team, writers, the producers, they've been able to get work. They've been able to get work, and so I guess you can't really be mad at that, Yeah, but
I mean, you could, but you don't have no real justification.
nah. Speaking of which, again, I was watching the news the other day, and they were talking about. I had already read about it online, but they were talking about what's going on with Netflix right now. Because they lost a lot of viewers and they're anticipating and not some again. And my wife was like, "What's going on with Netflix?" And I said to her, well, they're losing a lot of viewers. And I said, but what happened is, and I was telling her, I said, well, what happened is this. Back when Netflix first came out, they were the only game in town.
Yes.
They're like the premier streaming platform. But since Netflix has come out, you have a streaming platform coming out every week.
Every week.
Some new streaming platform is coming out every week, and so now they've got competition. And I said, case in point, when Netflix before Disney Plus came on, Netflix had like a lot of Disney films and all of Marvel films.
Yeah.
Now, Disney Plus comes, they buy Marvel, so they have the exclusive rights now to all things Marvel and all things MCU so naturally now everything and I said, and I had told her this, I said, now what's going to happen is like, okay, they'll let that stuff stay at Netflix maybe for a little while, but eventually
let that contract run out
until the contract runs out, and then everything Marvel will be moving over to DC. I mean to Disney Plus.
They said, I want it.
Everything, even the stuff that you probably would think, well, why would they want that? No, it's MCU.
If it says Marvel,
it belongs to them.
Mine.
It belongs to them,
and I want it.
Yep, and they want it, even if they take it and don't show it, because there's been what happened when Disney Plus when they brought over the Midnight Sun series. I guess you would call it Midnight Sun series, the darker Marvel series, like the Punisher, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and they brought those over to Disney. I was like, oh God, how are they gonna fit this into Pixar?
I have a password now.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a password on top of my password.
I was cracking up because I got ready to go on to Disney Plus that day and to watch something, and the thing came up. I couldn't log in and said, nope, you have to set up a password for the adult series. I was like, adult series? What are they talking about? That's an adult series. Yeah. I was like, oh God. And then when they said what they were talking about, like and I was like, oh, they're considering that quote unquote. So you can't, so kids just can't go on there and watch. Okay, I get it.
They're just saving themselves from,
I get it, from lawsuits.
Further lawsuits.
And people leaving, Disney was smart. That was a good catch, because I hadn't thought about that.
I'm glad they did.
Yeah, I had not thought about that. I was like, okay.
But Netflix has a myriad of problems, though.
Yeah.
One, you were right. They were, for a while, the only game in town.
Yep.
But then when the competition started coming in, they handled it poorly.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
Netflix is like $20 a month right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem.
When most of the other streaming networks are like 10 to 15. 10. Like 15 is the most if you want the premium. Like it's 15 if you want the premium subscription.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Netflix being $20, especially when you don't have the content you once had.
Yep. Exactly. People will, and a lot of the stuff that they're showing, and with the exception of the original stuff, people can see that same stuff on other
different
platforms.
on the other platforms for less money.
And
then on top of that, the biggest problem with Netflix right now is they're cracking down on the sharing.
Yeah, no.
Hello. That's a problem.
We laughed. I mean, we was watching it when he was talking about that. We sat there. We was cracking up. It's like, wow, they cutting out the sharing.
That's a problem. Because so many people, that's part of the reason they losing the amount of viewers that they're losing.
Because the one person who has it has already shared it with about 5 or 6 other people, and then you multiply that by thousands. It's like, okay, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there go your views right there.
Yeah, there go your viewership.
So now
right
if you're telling me I got to get an account, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Nah, I got Hulu.
Hulu.
I got Peacock.
And now Hulu does that too, but it's only if you have Hulu Live TV.
Okay. All right.
And then, even then, it's not to the extent of what Netflix is trying to do. Because we have Hulu Live TV.
Yeah. Oh.
And
okay, go ahead.
That's how we watch TV now. Because we got rid of cable. And we got Hulu Live TV.
You know what? I'm glad we're having this conversation because I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
I had not thought about that. Okay.
Because it still lets you pick, like, we still get HBO, we still get Showtime, still get Stars.
Man.
And we still get all of the regular channels. We still got all of that. But it's just now right in there with Hulu. It's all integrated together.
You know what? That's a good. I had not thought about that.
But Will still uses our Hulu, and he doesn't live here.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't watch Hulu on, like, you can't, because we have Hulu Live TV.
Before you go any further, anybody who heard that, you didn't hear that.
You didn't hear that. I mean, listen, I've been taught since I was a little boy that sharing is caring. They even made it a song. They said sharing is caring and it can be fun. So you can't tell me when I'm young that sharing is caring.
And then tell me I can't share.
And then tell me when I grow up that I can't share.
That I can't share that.
That I can't share. Right. That I can only share certain things.
No. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
That's right.
But so he still uses, like, you know, the Hulu, but he can't, because we have Hulu Live TV, only we can share it, but he can't log in on, like, the Apple TV in his house.
Okay.
He can only log in on, like, his phone or his tablet.
You can get Apple TV on Hulu Live?
No, like the Apple TV.
That's separate. That's
separate. Like the Apple TV device.
Okay.
What I should have been saying is Apple TV Plus is the name of the streaming service.
Yeah.
The Apple TV is a device. It's kind of like, it's the Fire Stick. It's Apple's version of the Fire Stick.
Okay.
But just a whole lot better.
Really?
Yeah, just because I can stream with my iPhone. One, this is completely off topic, but this is why I love Apple. Because I can seamlessly stream from my phone to my Apple TV.
Okay. That's an actual device.
Yes, it's an actual device. It's a little black box.
Okay.
It's great. I love it.
Okay.
But he can't do it from, like, his Apple TV in his house.
Okay.
But he can stream it from his phone. Like, he can still watch it on his phone and like on his iPad, but he just can't on the actual device. Only devices that can do it are the devices in this house, because this is home base for the Apple TV.
Okay, so you can't share that.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's
okay.
That's understandable.
Yeah. Okay. It's understandable. It's okay.
But it's not saying, like, you know.
But if you have access to Hulu, again, like a Hulu Live TV, and I hadn't thought about the benefits of it, because, again, I didn't know all of that about it. But now that you mentioned, I'm like, well, then if I can get that, then here it is. I don't need
Because we just
cable.
We have Verizon for Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because for cable, and it's been so easy.
Okay. Gave me something to think about. Yeah. because it's interesting because I had missed an episode of The Blacklist,
Okay.
and I was trying to look at it on Verizon. I was trying to go on Verizon, and then the what is it?
On demand.
On demand. But we was having a problem with on demand that night. Something was wrong in the system, and it wouldn't come up. And so I said, well, you know what? No, let me go to, because I know Hulu. I said,
Yeah.
But Hulu doesn't carry. Hulu carries The Blacklist, but you have to have the live TV stream.
Yeah.
So certain shows they only do it on the live stream. But I still didn't understand the benefit of it. But didn't really. I said, well, you know what? I'll just watch it later, and because I figured I could. But now that you mentioned that, I'm like, okay, well, it would make more sense because I have access to more things with Hulu if I get the live TV.
The Hulu Live TV is easy. It's cable pretty much. You still get, there's still like,
and I'm sure it's cheaper.
It is. It is.
Okay, thank you.
I pay like $120 a month. But that's because of me. Because I'm paying for Hulu without commercials because I despise them.
I despise
and
commercials.
everything they stand for.
Once you get used to looking at something without commercials,
you can't go back.
You can't go back.
So I bought the Hulu without commercials, and I got get this, I got the sports package, even though I don't watch sports. But my dad does because he's a big MMA fan. So that's benefits for him. I got Showtime Stars, HBO, which comes with like HBO Max. But I still have HBO Max because Hulu Live TV didn't let me, like, you know how like they were doing the shows same day release? That didn't count for.
Oh, really?
That didn't count on Hulu.
Oh.
So I still had HBO Max. But I got HBO, and it's like regular TV.
Okay. Oh. All right. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, because you still watch live TV, like, as things that, like, you can still watch, let's say, like, you like The Blacklist, for example. If you liked watching it when it came on, you could still do that.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like I said, the only downside is if you're watching live TV, like, the commercials, they're not like the regular cable commercials.
Okay.
They only give you advertisements for brands that are, like, contracted with Hulu.
Oh.
So it gets real repetitive.
Okay.
The commercials get real repetitive.
Oh, no.
Because
it's bad enough that you got to watch them, but then
I might hit somebody if I see another Liberty Mutual commercial. Like, if I ever see that white man on the street and he say Liberty Bibbity, we're gonna have a big problem.
It's like, all right, that's it.
That's it. That's enough.
You going down.
But I like it. It's worked.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Again, I don't really like, I don't really watch live TV too much because, again, I hate commercials. But it's got its
and it's really funny that we even saying that we had that you just said that, because I'm finding myself less and less watching live TV because most of the stuff that they have on live TV I can find now, and I can find on other platforms where I don't have to watch the commercials.
I don't have to do it.
I don't have to watch commercials, so it's like whatever. It's like even a lot of the stuff on the shows that I watch on the WB, and there's only a couple of them. But even the only ones I really watch are the superhero ones. Like, and the only two that I still watch at all are Lois and Clark, and is that what it's called? I don't even know what it's called. But the new Superman series, and Naomi, which is already on shaky ground for me because I'm not. If they don't hurry up and
if they don't get moving.
I'm getting ready to watch something else because, again, it's ponderous. It's a real ponderous story, and it's like, all right, where are we going with this? Come on, talk to me. How is this? Where is this going? I can't keep watching a show where I don't care about the characters, and I'm starting not to care. Yeah.
That's how I feel. What am I watching? I'm watching a show currently where I could not care less about 95% of the show. See, and that's for that reason. It's probably why I can't think of the show I'm talking about right now.
Because you don't
I'm
care
like,
about
why?
Yeah. It's like I can't. Yeah, I'm not.
Like, why am I watching this? I don't care.
Yeah, I don't even like any of the people on this show. And for me, again, we talked about guilty pleasures before. One to me, when we were talking outside. One of my, and that's not, it's a guilty. It's not even a guilty pleasure. It's more like a guilty, obsession, or guilty. Not even obsession, because I'm not obsessed with it. But it's I don't know. Maybe I'm just too lazy to find something else to watch. I'm still watching The Flash. As much as I hate that show, it's like an accident. I can't. You're riding past an accident. There's going to be bloody bodies lying on the side because you could tell that by how many cops and ambulances around. And you're like, but you can't look away. You're like, oh, I know this is going to give me nightmares later on, but I gotta watch. I don't like the characters, and the only character I like is the Flash. But all the people around him, and I've said this before, all the people around him, all the sub characters, all the rest of the cast, if they all disappeared,
you'd be fine.
I would be okay with that, because again, they are. It's like you look at them and you wonder, why are you here? What is your purpose? What is your reason for all of this? So again, but those are the only shows I watch on the WB. So if I could watch them somewhere else, I wouldn't watch the WB at all.
See,
there's nothing on there other than Supernatural, and I could watch Supernatural somewhere else.
Yeah, Supernatural's on Netflix.
Yep,
and that's done. So
just
anyway.
kind of rewrite,
until the what's the name comes out.
What's
the prequel?
What? Oh, they're doing a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did say that.
What's weird about prequels? It loses the drama and the tension.
Okay.
Because in watching Better Call Saul, that scene when they're in the desert, where the guy has them in the desert in like the first couple episodes.
Oh, yeah.
You're kind of sitting there and you're like, what should be a stressful moment isn't, because this takes place before the events of Breaking Bad.
So you're not...
he's going to be okay.
He's not going to die.
He's not going to die.
There's no real tension there, because he's not going to die.
He's not... There's no tension other than for his brother.
Yeah. So they had to... And that's probably why they added that stuff in. Why they had to add that stuff in his backstory, because of the fact... What it is, you see the evolution of him becoming, because he starts out as Jimmy and how he becomes Saul.
Yeah.
It's like the evolution of the character, how he goes from being that guy to being Saul, and you're going to see that in the next couple of in this next couple of episodes. But it's interesting, but you're right. There's no tension. There's no tension
because
for him, at least not for him.
Not for him,
because not
for any of the characters of Breaking Bad that they introduced into this show.
Yeah.
That there is no tension. There is no tension.
None
for any of these characters, because since they're in Breaking Bad, they're gonna survive.
Yeah.
Which is what I think and even still, that kind of takes the tension away too. The House of Dragon prequel that we're getting for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
About the Targaryens. There's going to be tension in that these are all new characters.
Yeah.
But then the tension is lost because, at the end of it, they're all dead.
Yeah. But I think the focus for most people that watch that show is going to be what? The dragons.
The dragons, of course.
That's going to be the focus. I know that'll be the reason I watch it. It'll be because this show is specifically revolves around, the dragons. And so
Yes.
people will be watching it for that reason. Not so much because, all right, we the Targaryens, yeah, we know. We get it.
Yeah, they're just,
Yeah. Not so much for them, but just because of, or if anything, how they became so invested and in control of the dragons.
Yes, that would be interesting to find
Yeah.
out if they,
Yeah.
go down that route.
Yeah.
Which is crazy though, right? Because the Targaryens are like most people's favorite family
Yeah.
from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But when you look at them,
They were messed up.
they were messed up because they kind of kept the family in family.
Yeah, they was inbred. Yeah.
Yeah, like they kept it in the family.
Yeah, they kept everything in the family.
In the family. And that's
That was kind of
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I think they kind of just let the dragons overshadow that. Like you see the dragons and you just kind of forget.
It's like, all right, let's look at the dragons.
Right, just focus on the dragons.
Focus on the dragons.
Focus on the dragons.
Don't look over there.
Not the fact that that's probably his sister. Because even when in Game of Thrones, when Jon slept with Daenerys, who was technically like his aunt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And nobody said anything.
Nobody said anything.
I was like, ew.
No one batted an eye when you find out that you are a Targaryen
Yeah. I was like,
and that you technically just slept with your aunt.
I was like, And I'm sitting around. It's like one of those things that you see happen, or in a series you see happen, or you figure it out. You're like, how come nobody's saying anything?
Right.
Nobody's saying
Because it's made fun of everywhere else.
It's like nobody is saying anything. It's like that's your relative.
That is your relative.
Yeah.
That's family.
Yeah. It was kind of cringy. That's the word. That's
very cringy.
Cringy. I was like, oh. So should I even be watching this? Where are the dragons?
Where are the dragons?
They need to put up a dragon right here.
I don't know why, but
I don't know. Just have one. Just
have one.
Just have one. Just tap dance by real quick, so I can say, look, there's a dragon.
Right. Put a dragon in a top hat. Have him say "Ragtime Gal" across the screen.
Oh, that would have made it a little less cringy because you would have been like, oh, did you see that dragon?
Right. Instead of,
and that's really funny because everybody would have talked about that, but nobody would have talked about what just happened on screen.
What just happened on screen?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. House of Dragons.
When is that starting?
I think June. No, I don't know.
Okay, I know it's coming up.
August 9th.
August. Okay.
August 9th.
Hawaii is.
Yes.
Yeah, but then and what I did too also because I'm trying to get it in before Friday. I'm watching the first half of Ozark again, the first half of the final season.
Yes, because the finale.
Yeah, because the finale will be coming
Friday,
and you will be able to watch all the episodes.
And I will probably be done by Saturday morning.
I said it will start Friday, and I will be done by Saturday morning. I will be done by
Saturday, and then I will be upset.
Then I'll be upset because I will
be upset.
Yeah, because I watched everything too quick. But yeah, I started watching it. I started watching it again last night because I found out that they're starting Friday. I said, well, let me start watching it again now.
Just so it's fresh.
Yeah, so it's fresh when I get to when I get to the end, when I get to the second part on Friday, because I know that's what's going to be my focus this weekend.
Yes, absolutely.
That is what I'll be watching.
Absolutely. Did you find tickets to Doctor Strange?
I didn't even try. You know what? I didn't even try. I said I'm not, because I already know it's on there probably almost at this stage of the game. It's 2 weeks out. They're probably almost impossible to find unless unless I'm sitting way on the front row in the right hand corner up against the wall.
Right.
In which case, I'm like, no, I'll just wait. I'll probably just go see it though, unless I get lucky, because sometimes I get lucky during the week and I might find it, and I might be able to find a seat, or somebody might cancel out, and I might be able to find a seat during the day.
Right.
During the day,
people at work.
and I'll go check it out.
Yeah, I'm already scheduled to see it twice.
You already got 2 tickets to see it twice?
Yeah,
Wow.
because Marvel movies I go see with my dad.
Yeah,
you always gotta go see it with my dad.
You guys always go together.
But a friend of mine, she I always have to go see them with her as well.
Okay. All right.
So, and she is also a Wanda fan.
See,
She just recently bought a fish.
she named it Wanda.
Yeah, she bought a red fish and named it Wanda.
Named it Wanda. Now she got to get a green one and name it Vision.
Yeah, but yeah. So she texted me and was like, she actually sent it because she's a teacher, but she sent like the most professional text message ever. Because it was like, hi, I understand that you go to see the Marvel movies with your dad. While I understand that is the case, I would also like to schedule time to go see this movie with you. So please let me know at your earliest convenience when you will have time to go see this movie.
Oh.
So we're going, I think the weekend after.
Okay.
We're going to I got to go see it again. Which is fine. It's a Marvel movie.
It's a Marvel movie, and that's gonna be.
It's a Marvel movie,
and this is gonna be a big one.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be so much going on in it. There's gonna be so much going on in it that you're not gonna take it in. You're not gonna take it all in the first go around. So it's like
that's the one thing I do like about it, because it's like when I go see it the first time, it's like shock and awe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Especially if it's a movie I'm excited for.
Yeah. Exactly. And they're doing it, and it seems like every week, every time I look around, they're saying, you don't know who's going to show up in this movie.
Right. So it's like, okay, so you got everybody to show up.
Exactly. This movie is going, again, I was saying, but we said it before, but this movie is going to be what opens up the next probably 10 movies.
Yes.
This one movie is going to open up probably for the next 10 movies and have an effect on on what's going to happen in the next 10 Marvel movies. So here it is.
It's just genius storytelling when you look at it.
You don't know. Again, already they're introducing Ironheart.
Yes.
They're introducing the character Ironheart, and that's the only one they're mentioning so far, but there's probably going to be several other characters that's going to be introduced in this one.
Yeah.
Some you'll see, and some you won't see.
But they'll be mentioned.
But they will be mentioned.
And then that door is open.
Yeah. Yep.
And let's walk through together.
Yep. So it's like.
And then follow that up with Thor.
Yep.
That trailer looks so.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Oh my God. So from what I'm looking at in the trailer, it looks like they're going to go back to Asgard, because there was one scene that looked like old Asgard, and I'm like, okay, are they going to reconstruct Asgard?
If I'm not mistaken, that's Olympus.
Oh, that's right. You're absolutely
it's Olympus, because Russell Crowe's playing Zeus.
Russell Crowe's playing Zeus, which also make me. Now I got excited about that, because that also means that the character Hercules might be introduced in this one. Because I know him and Thor were always at it. He was the son of Zeus. Hercules being the son of Zeus, and Thor being the son of Odin. They were always competing against each other. Yeah. Even when Hercules became an Avenger. So I'm thinking, I'm hoping that's what they did. That this will be the introduction of the character Hercules.
I get to find out how Jane got Mjolnir.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it looks like it's a reconstructed Mjolnir.
Yeah, it did look reconstructed. It was. Wasn't it already reconstructed?
No, because remember, Hela destroyed it.
Yeah.
And then when he went in the past, he
right.
took it.
He took it again. Yeah. Yeah.
But then when Cap went back to the past, he had it with him.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. And like when Cap went back to the past, it was like it wasn't in his hand, but it was like on like he had it with him.
No,
when he went back to the past.
Did not realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He took it back.
Okay. So because they had to kind of like
Restore the multiverse,
everything.
Yeah.
Back to where it was.
Only for Doctor Strange just come and wreck it again.
And wreck it again.
Is that something?
That's gonna be good.
Went through all of that fixing.
That's gonna be good.
So yeah, I'm interested.
So but it's gonna be an interesting summer in that regard.
Yes. Lord of the Rings, Uncle Greg. We didn't talk about Lord of the Rings.
You talking about on the thing that they're doing?
The series on Amazon Prime.
Has it started yet?
No, it starts September 2nd.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm so excited though.
I think now I don't really understand. It's not like a prequel.
If I read correctly, it's like what happens like right after.
Right after what?
Either the Battle of Sauron, like the first one, like they cut him, or they're going further back to the creation of the rings.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, now that I think about it again, I think that's what they're doing. They're going back to when the rings were first created. Okay. All right. That should be interesting.
I'm intrigued. They spent like mad money on that show.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. And but they're doing it in the form of a series.
Yes.
Okay.
Which could be interesting because the problem with adapting or like stories like that, when you put it into a movie, you kind of have to crunch it down, and like certain things get like you kind of got to go and be like, okay, I can't put this in there because we don't have enough time.
We don't have time. We don't have
because the
time.
movie would be like 6 hours if you had to like put everything in its proper perspective.
Which was why they had to make even the movies the way they did. And
yes,
like,
even though it blew my mind to find out that they made 3 movies for The Hobbit.
Yeah.
When The Hobbit was only a book.
One story.
It was only a book.
It was one story, and not even a really thick book. It was really a short story on top of all of that.
And they had to,
and they divided that. So again, just to I guess to make it, to make the movie make sense, they had to stretch that one little story into three movies. Ooh. Each movie was about what?
It was like 2 hours at least.
Yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours plus. So we're talking about at least a good 6 to 8 hours of movie.
Strangely enough, the second one is my favorite.
Really? That was the one with the dragon?
Yes.
That's my favorite.
When like he's like talking to him in the cave.
Yes.
That one is my favorite
that
of the 3.
That one is my favorite of the 3. Matter of fact, and there's so many. That one is for my favorite. Not even something. The story was good. The music was good. There is like in the beginning, or was that in the first one? I'm not sure. I think that was the first or the second one when they're actually getting ready to start the quest, and they're getting ready to start the quest, and they're singing. Are they dwarves?
Hobbits.
The Hobbit.
No, dwarves.
The dwarves.
Dwarves.
They were singing. I was like, oh man, this is so freaking cool.
It really is.
That was so cool. And then I remember that part was that I enjoyed that part, and then when the whole interaction with the dragon and between with the dragon and then the last scene. Oh my God, the last scene.
That's a scene right there, man.
That one, I will always watch that one.
Yes.
If it's on TV, I catch it as one of the ones, I will sit there watch.
I will sit and watch.
I will sit and watch it. I'm sitting and watch it just so I can get to the last scene. Sometimes
I am death.
I was like, oh, and then it just goes.
It
off.
fades to black.
I was in the theater. I was like, oh my God, that was such a great scene.
Such a great scene, man.
And then the other part, what really what brought it all home is that then they start playing the song that Ed Sheeran does.
Yes.
And the first line of the song is the same. It was taken from the song that the dwarves was singing, and I was like, "Oh man, this is crazy.
Yeah,
This is
that is
crazy."
storytelling. I personally do not see why why the masses don't enjoy these movies. Like just like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Like, you know, it's like certain, like if you go in like most circles, it's like the Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Star Wars, Star Trek, all of the really greats, all of the top tier storytelling.
Yeah. You got to enjoy storytelling, and not just go to the movie just for the spectacle of it. Well, no, I take that back. Some people just like the spectacle, and some people enjoy the storytelling. I've seen enough spectacle movies or big spectacular type movies where there's a lot of bells and whistles and all the special effects. I've seen enough of those to realize that if the story's not good, I don't care what you're doing. I mean, not unless you're just gonna go in and turn your brain off and not really pay attention, but you're just looking for the next explosion. But if you're looking, it's like, all right, you're doing all of this, but why? What is it? Where is it? How is this fitting in the story? How is this affecting the characters? What's going on here? To me, that is the epitome of a good movie, when you have a good story and really big special effects.
Yes.
Bro,
these is just some of the camaraderie between all like the Fellowship and like the hobbits and the dwarf, like that whole, it's a beautiful story. These are beautiful stories being told, but because it's like goblins and dwarves and like if you look past that, and you focus on the main story, it's a great story, and these are great movies, and I don't think that they get the credit they deserve.
Nah, not at all. Not for the storytelling, and you know, if you saw it at all, you saw it for the beauty of it, how it's shot, how it was made, and all of that stuff. But at the heart of it, there was this great story. And if you didn't pay attention to that, you missed it. There was the relationship between Sam and Bilbo? Frodo. The relationship between Sam and Frodo, that was absolutely incredible. Even though, you know, and it's really interesting because if you're watching it, you find out that even though Frodo might have been the one who was the main character, it was Sam, who was the heart of everything.
Yeah,
it was Sam who was the heart of everything. He was like, he would have never made it.
No,
he would have never made it
if it wasn't for Sam.
If it had not been for Sam, would have never made it. He would have died. He would have died or been taken over by the dark side way
sooner.
Way sooner if Sam hadn't been there.
Sam don't get the credit he deserves either.
Nah. That was epic. Epic.
He does not get the credit. They hardly ever do. And I will always remember and love that post that said everyone should have a Sam.
Yeah, I remember you said that. You told that's always
because none of the Sams get the credit
that they
deserve.
Yeah.
For the work, because again, these main characters would go way left.
Yeah, if there wasn't a conscience holding them back,
and holding them together,
and holding them there, and Sam in that case was the conscience of it.
The conscience for
the heart of it all.
Because he saw Smeagol.
Yeah,
he said, "Nah, I know we can't trust you.
Yeah,
I know we can't trust you."
Yeah,
but Lord of the Rings is just, it's a great series. Great. Just, you know.
I know, 1 year, maybe I'll do it again this summer. Every night would watch. I watched the whole series again. And every night I would just watch a different one. Every night I would watch a different one.
And I don't mind doing that. They're all on HBO Max.
Yeah.
And the extended editions, that's where I was at. I just recently watched The Lord of the Rings, the extended editions. Wow.
Yeah.
So much more. It made even more sense watching the extended edition Then the extended edition made me appreciate the movie on an entirely different level because of all of the extra knowledge that I was
that
missing.
you were able to get from it. Yeah.
That they threw in that wasn't there initially. Because I'm gonna be honest, I had the books, but
I never read the books.
I read the first one.
I never read any of them, man.
I read Fellowship of the Ring. But, and I believe I've said it before, if you want me to read a book, do not let me find out that there is a movie out or on the way.
Because you'll
Because
just go watch the movie.
I'm not going to read the book now. I'm just going to go watch the movie.
I hear you.
That's why I stopped with Harry Potter. I read the first 2 Harry Potters, but I got to them late. By the time I started reading Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling had just released The Deathly Hallows, which was the last book.
That was when. That's funny you say that because that's when I read when The Deathly Hallows was getting ready to be released, and that's when I went back. But before I read that, I said I want to read the other ones. So I went back and I read the Harry Potter books.
Yes, and I read them, and I was like, great.
Yeah.
And I read the first 2.
Yeah.
And there were 2 reasons I stopped. One, because the first 2 were normal size books.
And then all of a
3
sudden,
and beyond,
yeah,
they were just these chunky,
these big, giant,
large, clunky books.
yeah.
I'm not doing that.
I hear you.
Then I found out we're getting movies.
Yeah.
I'm not reading the book no more.
Like I didn't read any of the books until towards the end. And then what I did one summer, I think it was after the Deathly Hallows, one summer, I spent the whole summer doing Harry Potter, whole summer. And what I would do, I would read the book and then watch the movie and kind of like compare the two. And then I would read the next book, and as soon as I finished the book, I would watch the movie because while the book is still fresh in my head, I would watch the movie and try to compare it. They did an incredible job of storytelling.
Yes, they did.
Because in most of the movies, in almost all of the movies, they stuck pretty close
to what the books said.
To what the books were doing.
Yeah.
They were, and matter of fact, there were some lines that they would use in the movies that if you had not read the books,
you wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't get it. I know in the first one, there was this one scene in the book. And there was this one scene in the movie where, the old caretaker at the school,
yes,
was always skulking around, and I think it was Malfoy or somebody, one of the kids called him a squib. If you don't know, if you would probably not even pay it any attention, if you didn't care what a squib was. But when you find out what a squib is, and you find that out in the books, you find out why he is and why he hated. Because I was like, why does he hate the kids so much? And if he does hate them that much, why don't you find another line of work?
Hello.
Why are you working in a school full of kids? A squib is somebody who is born into the magical world and doesn't have any powers. And that's what he was. So here it is, you're working in an environment where all these kids are here to learn to do the one thing that you can't do.
Especially if you're, imagine a mudblood.
Yeah.
Like if you find out that a kid, be like,
exactly.
So you mean to tell me?
So he probably really hated Hermione.
Right. So I'm born into this, and I can't do it. And you was born,
and you
to a bunch of muggles,
and you can do all the things that I can't, and not even do them, but do them well. You do things I can't do, and will never be able to do. Oh, I really hate you.
Right.
I hate you and the horse you rode in on. it's like I thought about so it's like here it is. This character is now you have placed yourself in an environment and you're around constantly reminded of what you are not and cannot be. So I guess that would make you a little bitter. I don't think I would have stayed in that kind of environment.
I would have said I'd have been bounced.
So you know what? I think I'll go get a job at Burger King because I'm not gonna be doing this every day.
With the muggles.
I'm not doing this every day.
Yeah, I stopped. And the last Harry Potter book I read wasn't even. I don't think J.K. Rowling wrote this, but it was the screenplay for The Cursed Child.
Did you read that? See, I didn't. I wanted to read that. I have not read it yet, and I keep saying I'm going to, but I keep hoping that they'll make it into a movie, but I don't think they will.
Well, no, because what's the name said he's done. He's not coming back. Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah. Well, again, it doesn't have to. For me, it doesn't have to be him.
It does.
No.
I don't need some other white man playing Harry Potter.
So for me, it's like,
especially because they are the age now.
Yeah, actually, he could pull it off.
Yes.
He could, because now he is literally at that age.
At that age. All of them are.
Yeah. But it's like, you know what? I can't. I would have to give him a pass because it's like, you know what? That role kept you guys trapped for so long.
No, and I get it because that's what he said. He said he feels like in his career, he's broken free.
And I think that's why he takes some of the incredibly crazy roles that he takes in his movie choices.
Yes.
Because of the fact he doesn't want anybody, he will never let them pigeonhole him into a role like that again. It's like, nah. So he takes all these incredibly crazy and risky roles.
He does, because my favorite Daniel Radcliffe role is Guns Akimbo.
I still have not watched that.
Oh, Greg, you've got to watch that movie. Okay. It is fantastic.
I still have not watched. It looks like it's really good.
It is really good.
Yeah. Had you watched Swiss Army Man?
No.
Weird movie. Again, he plays in that movie. Weird movie, but it was it's a really good movie, especially when you get to the end and find out what's really going on. But he was good, and he takes risky.
He's a good actor.
He's a good actor. He takes roles now that he can do something with, or be creative or be crazy and not just have everybody comparing it to. He will probably never do anything with wizardly special effects. No. He will really never do anything like that again.
No, he will
never.
Not.
None of them will. None of them will.
Especially because I don't even know how they got him to do that. Malfoy. Have you ever seen Get Him to the Greek?
Which one?
Get Him to the Greek?
No.
That's a funny movie.
Yeah.
But
I hate Russell Brand. That's probably why I didn't watch it. But again, I know that's why I didn't watch it. But okay, go ahead.
But that one, I think you should give it a chance.
Give it a chance. Okay.
Because the other people in the movie make that movie.
Okay.
Especially Diddy.
Oh, he's in it?
Hilarious the entire movie.
Okay. All right. Next time I get a chance to watch.
They're in a club. There's a scene in the movie. They're in a club.
Uh-huh.
And they're in a club in England, and why can I think of his name? Not Seth Rogen. Fat guy, funny.
Oh, I know.
He's not fat anymore.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. Why can't I call his name? Why can't I call his name? He was in Superbad, right?
Yes,
from Superbad. And it almost came out my mouth, and then it was like, nope, that's yet. It's his name. It's not Seth Rogen. It's.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
So they're in a club, and they bump into. Why can't I think of Malfoy's name either? I knew that at one point. He bumps into him, and then they get into like a little altercation, and he goes, "Okay, Malfoy." And he looks at him. He's like, "Really? You're
gonna do this?
This is what we're gonna do now?" And I'm like, they probably get that. That's a funny scene in a movie, but that's probably something they've dealt with their entire life.
Man, again, because now that you mention that, there is a scene. I don't know if you've ever watched it. I don't know if you've ever watched it. There is a scene in this movie called "This Is the End." Have you ever watched this?
Yes, we just got robbed by Hermione.
That is the best scene in the whole. Jonah Hill, is that who you?
Jonah Hill, yes.
That's it. That's
yes.
it. Yeah,
That's his name.
that is the best scene
Yes.
in the whole movie. He said, "We just got robbed by Hermione." That was the best. That was one of the best scenes in the whole movie. I loved that movie. Loved that movie. But yeah, again, but that's what's. These are characters, people will see, they'll be 80 years old, 50 years, 60 years old, walking down the street and somebody like,
Oh my God, it's Harry.
oh my God, it's Hermione. And it's really, so it's like they're, I'm sure they're very, very conscious now of roles that they take because.
Probably why she did Noah.
Huh? Oh. And then shouldn't have did that.
She shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, nobody should have done
Nobody should have done that.
Yeah. It's like they're very and if you notice, what's his name, Rupert, he stays. I mean, you see him in different roles, but nothing really big, and the things that he takes now are so far away.
Yes.
From that. That you probably wouldn't even see him or know that was him in it because they're so far to the left of anything Harry Potter, and that's pretty much all of them. Even though here it is, these kids literally and I said what I would have done is at the end of the last movie they kind of with what they did, I would have done a montage of all of the kids because literally these were the same kids pretty much in every movie, all of the kids who growing up.
Well, no, somebody did it. Somebody, not like a montage, but there was they took pictures of all of the kids at the premiere of the first Harry Potter movie
and showed them later.
And then they put those pictures on top of all of them at the very last Harry Potter movie.
Yeah. I mean, they literally grew up.
They grew up
on set.
On set.
Watch it in this world, in this movie. They were like literally grew up, went through teenage years. They started out as children, went through teenage years, went through young adulthood, and then all this. They were adults when they finished making this movie. They were grown-ups.
Yeah, because I was a grown up watching it. Because I was a kid.
Yeah,
we did this together.
Yeah, it was really, really. So again, I can understand that. I would never. I would be honored that I did it and happy that I did it. But when it was done, it would have been like,
yeah, I'm done. Not going back.
I'm not going back to that.
Not going back
ever. I'm sure it was even hard to get them to come back and do the reunion thing. When they did the reunion on HBO, and I watched that. I couldn't wait to see it because because this was like the first time, that they had done anything like that collectively. And so I watched it and it was good, but it was, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I wonder what this feels like, really, really feels like. They're probably sitting there like, all right, when is this going to be
Let's
over?
Let's get through this.
Let's get through this.
Hi, oh my God, hi. Yeah, I'm so glad to be back.
Kiss.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Where's my limo?
Okay, bye.
I got to get it.
Okay, bye, I'm done.
Before they come and close the door and tell us, you're making another movie.
Speaking of which, something like that would happen. You got to watch The Bubble.
Is that good?
Oh, that movie is hilarious. Oh, great.
I keep seeing it. It keeps coming up on on Netflix feed.
Yes, just give it a chance.
Okay. All right.
Because I had no idea what the movie was about.
Because and that was just but it's like number 1 or number 2 on the list.
That movie was hilarious.
Really?
Yes, because
Maybe I'll watch that
it's
tonight.
about a company trying to make a movie during COVID,
Okay.
at like peak COVID.
Okay. When everybody was catching it and
Yes.
and they were shutting stuff down.
Yes. It is hilarious though.
Okay.
Because of just all the jabs they make.
Uh-huh.
Not at COVID, at actors, at like directors.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
And
the cast it surprised me. It's got some like real heavy hitters in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Okay. I'll give that a watch now.
Yeah. But yeah. I think that's pretty much it.
Yep. I think we're good here.
Yeah. We managed to talk for an hour.
Yes, we did.
Which was a plus.
Yeah, especially when we started, we really didn't have
a direction.
to go. But
Yeah.
I figured that would happen. I said we'll get down and we'll start talking, and next thing you know we'll be
we're just
somewhere. We'll be somewhere.
We'll be somewhere.
Yeah.
And somewhere is where we were.
Yep.
But yeah. So until the next one.
Until the next time.
We're out.
We're out. Take care.
Later.